She has just become the fourth fastest woman.
Melissa Jefferson-Wooden just stunned the entire sprinting world. At the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo, the 24-year-old didn't simply win. She crushed the field, shattered expectations, and left the sport's biggest names struggling in her wake. Her dominance wasn't luck. It was a statement that embarrassed the sprinting elite.
But Melissa Jefferson-Wooden streaks away in the closing stages, 10:61.
Jefferson-Wooden opened her Tokyo campaign by clinching the 100-meter gold medal in a stunning 10.61 seconds. It wasn't just a personal best. It was a championship record and the fourth fastest time in women's 100-meter history. Her victory margin of 0.15 seconds over Jamaica's Tina Clayton marked the second largest winning gap in World Championships history. The time also matched the fastest ever recorded at a global championship, tying with Elaine Thompson-Herah's Olympic record set in Tokyo in 2021. "I came in as a hunter," said Jefferson-Wooden, referencing her journey from Olympic bronze to global dominance. "I have never won a world or an Olympic 100-meter title, and I worked for that this whole year." Her major rival, Julian Alfred, St. Lucia's Olympic champion, was a formidable presence in the race, but a pulled hamstring during warm-ups hampered her performance. Alfred still managed a courageous 10.84, securing bronze. Tina Clayton, just 21 years old, grabbed silver with a personal best of 10.76. Meanwhile, the legendary Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, a five-time world champion, ran her final global championship individual race and finished sixth in 11.03. The moment symbolized the passing of the torch, a generational shift captured in real time. Jefferson-Wooden's performance was clinical. She had gone undefeated in the 100 meters all season, gradually lowering her personal best and entering Tokyo with the three fastest times of the year. She responded to Alfred's 10.93 in the heats by breezing through her semifinal in 10.73, the fastest of the round. "It was not easy," Jefferson-Wooden said after her final. "It looked that way, but it wasn't. There was a lot of preparation involved, a lot of hard work. At the end of the day, the main thing was the focus on my execution." But she wasn't done.
Miles clear with 70 meters to go. She's done something that no American woman has ever achieved before.
5 days later, Jefferson-Wooden lined up for the 200-meter final in lane 6, flanked by two-time world champion Shericka Jackson. The stakes were monumental. A sprint double was on the line, and once again she delivered with breathtaking flair. Jefferson-Wooden exploded out of the blocks, rapidly made up the stagger on Jackson, and never looked back. She surged down the straightaway and crossed the line in 21.68 seconds, a world-leading mark and a massive personal best. That time elevated her to number 8 on the all-time list and secured her place in sprinting history. Anytime I see anything under 22 seconds, I think, yes, that was great. To see 21.68, it's like, wow, you're kind of moving. It's undeniable at that point, she said post-race. The silver went to Amy Hunt of Great Britain in 22.14, edging out Jackson, who clocked 22.18 for bronze. The U.S. dominated the final, placing 4 women in the top 8, a feat not achieved since 2007. The 200-meter wasn't even part of Jefferson-Wooden's original plan, but after her success in the 100-meter, she told her coaches she wanted to take it seriously. They both kind of looked at each other like, "Did y'all hear what she just said? Is she serious?" She recalled. What started as a side goal transformed into an iconic statement. She became only the 4th woman to win the 100 meters and 200 meters at the World Championships, joining legends like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, 2013, Katrin Krabbe, 1991, and Silke Gladish, 1987. Jefferson-Wooden also became the first American to achieve this sprint double since Allison Felix in 2009. But she still wasn't finished. On the final day of the championships, she anchored the U.S. women's 4x100-meter relay team to gold, completing an astonishing sprint triple. In doing so, Jefferson-Wooden joined an elite group of women and became the first American ever to win the 100-meter, 200 meters, and 4x100 meters at a single World Championships. The journey to this triple crown wasn't easy. Jefferson-Wooden's 2024 season had already hinted at greatness. She claimed Olympic bronze in the 100 meters and gold in the 4x100 meters in Paris. But her rise to the very top took sacrifice, discipline, and belief. She started working with a chef, giving up her beloved Culver's Deluxe Butterburgers, and recommitted herself to maximizing every part of her performance. My mindset has always kind of been there, she explained. But it was taking those extra steps as far as my discipline goes to make sure that I'm really doing the things that I need to in order to achieve the things that I say I want to achieve. Even before Tokyo, she had already amassed a formidable season. Wins at the Grand Slam Track Series in Kingston and Miami, a 10.65 at the U.S. Championships in Eugene, making her the joint fifth fastest woman in history at the time, and multiple Diamond League victories over top rivals like Julian Alfred and Gabby Thomas. Jefferson-Wooden's performances were more than just fast. They were a public declaration of a new era. NBC analyst Otto Bolden summed it up perfectly. This year, she's the best in her camp. She's the best in the world. She likes that spotlight, and that's why I'm predicting that she is now the woman to beat. The Tokyo crowd witnessed the birth of a new sprint queen and the closing act of a legend. Fraser-Pryce, with a career that included 2 Olympic golds and 10 World Championship titles, bowed out with grace. "It felt really good," she said of the crowd's reception. "Now I'm looking forward to the 4x100 meters." Jefferson-Wooden's story is all the more remarkable considering her humble roots. She grew up in Georgetown, South Carolina, a self-described village kid. At 17, she saved her father's life by donating bone marrow during his cancer battle. Years later, that same father stood by the finish line in Tokyo, watching his daughter become a 3-time world champion. "They sacrificed so much for me," Jefferson-Wooden said, referencing her parents. "It's only right that I go out there and perform and be the best Melissa that I can be, so I can make them proud." Her father, Melvin, captured the moment best. "I felt blessed because I was there to witness it. This wasn't just a championship, it was a coronation." From Coastal Carolina standout to global sprint queen, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden has rewritten the narrative. She is not just fast, she is fearless, focused, and now firmly etched in history. In the weeks following her triple gold performance in Tokyo, Jefferson-Wooden became a household name across the sporting world. Media appearances, award nominations, and tributes poured in. She was hailed as the new face of American sprinting and embraced her role as a mentor to younger athletes. She continued training with unwavering dedication, keeping her sights set on upcoming global competitions, including the 2026 Commonwealth Games and 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Her victories also fueled renewed attention to women's track and field. Youth enrollment in sprint programs surged, and young girls across the U.S. began citing Jefferson-Wooden as their inspiration. Her humility and power resonated far beyond the track. As she sets her sights on future Olympic titles and records yet to fall, one thing is clear: the sprinting elite has been officially put on notice, and the world now knows her name, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, triple world champion, and the woman who humiliated the world's best with a smile, a surge, and a gold-laced legacy.
All right, this is Missouri. I'm not going to tell you anymore. Show me.
On November 22, 2025, hundreds of the best college runners in America gathered in Columbia, Missouri for the NCAA cross-country championships. But this wasn't just any race day. The weather was foggy and the grass was wet, making the course tougher than usual. Despite these challenging conditions, what happened next would completely rewrite the record books. Let's start with the women's 6K race because this one had everyone talking. The main story was about Jane Hedengren, a true freshman from BYU. Now, when I say she dominated this season, that's putting it lightly. In her regional race just weeks earlier, she won by more than 40 seconds. That's a massive gap in cross-country. She came into nationals trying to do something that hadn't been done in 40 years. Only one woman had ever won this title as a true freshman, and that was back in 1985.
How about that for Jane Hedengren on her initial run on the Gans Creek course with an 18:42.3.
But standing in her way was Alabama's Doris Lemgol, the defending champion who was 23 years old and much more experienced. This was going to be a battle. The gun went off and the race started incredibly fast. The first kilometer came in at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. To put that in perspective, that's a pace of 4 minutes and 49 seconds per mile. That's blazing fast for a 6K race. And right at the front, you guessed it, Jane Hedengren and Doris Lemongola running side by side. Hedengren kept pushing the pace through 2 kilometers, coming through in 6 minutes and 7 seconds, still under 5 minutes per mile. She was doing exactly what she had done all season, taking it out hard and trying to break everyone. At the halfway point, 3 runners had broken away from the pack. It was Lemongole, Hedengren, and another runner named Rosemary Longisa. They hit 3K in 9 minutes and 13 seconds, and everyone watching knew something special was happening. Shortly after that mark, Lemongole and Hedengren dropped Longisa. Now it was just the two of them. The freshman versus the defending champion. The experience versus the fearless newcomer. They were so far ahead that by the 4K split, they had almost 50 meters on everyone else. The battle continued at a ridiculous pace. They came through 5K in 15 minutes and 24 seconds. Both runners kept making moves, trying to break each other. Lemongole would push hard, but Hedengren wouldn't break. Then Hedengren would surge to the side, but Lemongole stayed right there. But with about 800 meters to go, something changed. Lemongole finally started to pull away. She opened up a gap of 10 to 15 meters on the young freshman, and she kept pushing all the way to the finish line. Doris Lemongole crossed the finish line in 18 minutes and 25.4 seconds. Let me repeat that because it's important. 18 minutes and 25 seconds for 6 kilometers. That wasn't just fast. That was the fastest time ever run at an NCAA championship. Ever. She had just broken the record and defended her title at the same time.
And it has been a while since we've had a repeat champion. Sheila Reed from Villanova, 2010-2011. Roll Tide, it is Doris Lemongole.
Jane Hedengren came in second with a time of 18 minutes and 38.9 seconds. She was 13 seconds behind, but her time was still the second fastest ever run at Nationals. Florida's Hilda Olemo Moy finished third in 18 minutes and 46.4 seconds.
Defending her championship, and what a run by the freshman, Jane Hedengren.
She gave everything she had to stay with Doris up that hill, and it cost her.
Here's what makes this even more crazy. The top 6 finishers all ran the fastest times in championship history. Not just fast times, the fastest ever. In fact, 19 of the top 20 fastest times ever recorded at NCAAs happened in this one race. The wet conditions should have slowed everyone down, but instead, we witnessed history. After the race, Hedengren posted on Instagram about what happened. She wrote, "I went to Nationals believing I could win, so I raced with that belief. I took the lead, took the risk, and put myself in the mix. With about 600 meters to go, my body was finally done, but I'm grateful for the chance to learn." She continued, "There's something powerful about pushing yourself, racing the best, and finding out more about who you are becoming." Then she ended with, "The foundation is set. For the team race, NC State won their 4th championship in 5 years with 114 points. Their runners Hannah Gapes and Grace Hartman finished 5th and 6th, just 1.3 seconds apart. It was an emotional win for the Wolfpack. BYU came in 2nd with 130 points, and Oregon took 3rd with 153 points. Now let's talk about the men's 10K race because this story might be even better. Tom Samuel from New Mexico had finished 2nd at Nationals 2 years in a row. In 2024, he actually lost one of his running spikes during the race and still managed to finish 2nd. This year, he wasn't leaving anything to chance.
2 years in a row, how does it feel to get the win?
Oh yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. After these past 2 years, I just finished runner-up. I was like, keep working hard. I didn't ever give up,
The race started fast, just like the women's. True freshman Tavon Kitchen from BYU took the lead early and held it for much of the first 5 kilometers. It was a big pack running together, very tactical. Runners like Brian Musso from Oklahoma State, Rocky Hansen from Wake Forest, and Samuel were all waiting for the right moment to make their move. They came through 5K in 14 minutes and 25 seconds, on pace for around 28 minutes and 50 seconds. Still, nobody had made a big move yet. Everyone was being patient. Then, with 1 mile to go, Tom Samuel exploded. And I mean exploded. He surged away from the entire field with such force that you could see the determination on his face. This was his moment, and he was taking it. Here's how crazy his move was. From 8K to 9K, Samuel ran a split of 2 minutes and 38 seconds. That's the equivalent of running a 4-minute and 13-second mile in a 10K race. After already running 8 kilometers on wet grass, it was probably one of the fastest single kilometers in NCAA cross-country history. Only Rocky Hansen and Brian Musso tried to go with him, but they couldn't match his speed. Samuel just kept pulling away, looking smooth and in control. With about 50 meters left, he started celebrating, arms out wide as he crossed the finish line. His winning time was 28 minutes and 33.9 seconds. That's the 9th fastest time ever run at an NCAA championship. After the race, Samuel explained his strategy. He said, "I kind of planned on not coming with the guys through 400 meters or something. I know some guys at 1,500. Maybe they're going to kick me out. So I prefer to just run longer and just run hard. That was my plan." It was perfect execution. He waited, he struck at the right moment, and he ran away from everyone when it mattered most. Rocky Hansen finished second in 28 minutes and 38 seconds, and Washington State's Solomon Kipchoge was third in 28 minutes and 40.1 seconds. The top 9 finishers all ran times that ranked in the top 39 fastest ever. But there was also drama on the team side. Oklahoma State won the team title with 57 points, finishing an undefeated season. They put 4 runners in the top 12, with Brian Musso 4th, Fuad Messaoudi 5th, and Dennis Kipngetich 6th. However, before the race, there was controversy. BYU's coach Ed Eyestone had commented about international recruiting in college cross-country, saying, "I always felt I'd be embarrassed to have 7 foreigners on the team." Oklahoma State's coach Dave Smith fired back in the pre-race press conference. He said, "I have no problem with anybody running their program within the rules and doing things the way they should be done. If I believe that someone doesn't like a rule or doesn't like a situation in the NCAA, don't complain about it. Go change it. Get involved. Get involved in the sport. Get involved in leadership and make change the way change is supposed to be made. Otherwise, shut up and coach your team." That's what I think about this stuff. Then his team went out and dominated, which must have felt pretty good.
Wilson and Dedmon headed to Paris, and they meet the line at the same time. 44.2.
While professional runners train for years to break the 45-second barrier in the 400 meters, a 17-year-old high school student just ran faster than almost every pro in the world. His name is Quincy Wilson, and his story is one of the most amazing things happening in track and field right now. Quincy goes to Bullis School in Maryland. He's a regular high school senior who gets straight A's, hangs out with his friends, and thinks about his homework before he goes to sleep. But on the track, he's anything but regular. On July 12th in Memphis, Tennessee, he lined up against Olympic champions and world-class professionals. When the race was over, his time read 44.10 seconds.
Wilson goes inside, he's covering before inside coming. Can Wilson hold on? It is going to be Quincy Wilson!
To understand how fast that is, you need to know that only 3 men in the entire world ran faster than Quincy in 2025. Not 3 high schoolers, 3 people total. He tied with Matthew Hudson Smith, the Olympic silver medalist from Great Britain. That's the company Quincy is keeping at just 17 years old.
And that time of
The race in Memphis wasn't close. Quincy started in lane 5, right next to Steve Gardner from the Bahamas, who won the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo back in 2021. Within the first 80 meters, Quincy was already up on Gardner's shoulder. He ran the opening 200 meters with complete confidence, then pulled away in the final stretch. His closest competitor, Bryce Dedmon, finished almost 0.3 of a second behind him. After the race, Quincy explained what made the difference. "If you see my races before, I haven't been getting out of the blocks well," he told the crowd. "My coach has been telling me stay on the process, do what we've got to do. I went out there and shot out like a bullet. I'm super thankful and blessed." That 44.10 broke Quincy's own world record for athletes under 18 years old. It also moved him to second place on the all-time list for athletes under 20. The only person ahead of him is Steve Lewis, an American who ran 43.87 at the 1988 Olympics when he was 19 years old. Quincy is still 17. He has time.
There, who is Stephen Lewis of the United States. and Danny Everett. Will the 19-year-old hang on? Here comes Butch Reynolds. The race to the finish line. Reynolds with that surge, but Everett hung on. Or I should say Lewis hung on.
But Memphis wasn't his first big moment. Actually, Quincy has been breaking records since he was in 8th grade. Back then, he ran 47.5 seconds, and people started paying attention.